Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, man. I know it's been a long time since we last chatted. It's almost like you have to re-catch up in a lot of ways, you know? It's like a reintroduction. Not that we need to.
I'm Dan. Nice to meet you.
My name is Carl Wastie from Cape Town, South Africa. Big fan of Bastille.
Oh, thanks, Carl. We go back. But yeah, it does feel like, I guess for us, we've been away for a bit. Even before the pandemic happened, we were planning to sort of go away for a bit and leave people alone and come back as a kind of seeing it a bit as a new era and a bit of a fresh start. We're just happy to be able to release music, to still be doing what we're doing. It's wild. We're so excited.
I'm glad that the new music is coming out because I cannot get over all of the, well, I'm going to call it the older stuff, if you think about it, because there were tracks that I feel were like perfectly suited for lockdown for me. For instance, you know, when the pandemic hit, it was kind of like Pompeii. Just letting you know, I mean, your music really was effective throughout every single moment that happened during lockdown. It was great. There were times where I had to make my own party and essentially create my own rhythm of the night.
I just found myself nodding along. There is no way to style out listening to your own music involuntarily, is there? Do you sit there stony faced looking like a grumpy bastard? Do you nod along and try and like keep it cool? I don't know, like whip out some moves, of which I obviously have zero. What a weirdly unique problem to have.
Should I exercise your mind?
Exercise my mind, help me exercise my mind.
I could help. But now I listened to your single and instantly I was happier.
I want you to be happier.
But yeah, here we are, hey? Chilling together, chatting again, surviving.
I'm surviving. And I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna be fine. I think I'll be fine.
So, Dan, be proud of yourself, man. There's some good tracks here.
I guess we inadvertently wrote a song for every occasion, if the occasion happens during a pandemic.
Yes, so now we sorted out with that. There's an album coming. Is this inspired by the creativity of some downtime that we were all forced into last year?
Yeah, I guess I felt mega lucky compared to, you know, a lot of people to still be able to do what I love and write songs. And obviously last year was difficult and, you know, on varying levels for different people. But, you know, the one thing that I had and that we had the whole time was the ability to write, to work at home, work over Zoom, go to the studio when it was allowed, you know, all that stuff. It was an amazing kind of lifeline to have through a very weird, stressful time, and actually ended up being a much more collaborative experience than normal. Like normally when we make music, it's kind of, I write everything, work on it with the guys, and then record it, you know, I produce with our friend Mark. And actually this time, almost against the grain, you know, you'd think you'd kind of bunker down and work by yourself. And I think because that sort of need for connection, the need to want to work with other people meant that I worked with loads of friends, some new people as well. And it ended up with this album that is kind of future looking and it's sort of futuristic. It's a whole world that we've built and it's been just so much fun. We're so proud of it and it's coming very soon. We're really excited for people to hear it. It's been like just such a great project to have.
So are the track titles on the new album going to be all as cool as Distorted Light Beam? Because when I saw that song title, I was like, dude, this is what happens when you have free time in your hands.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely spent a lot of time on this record over the last year and a half. But like, I'm the worst person to represent this stuff when things aren't announced because I just want to say everything all the time and give everything away.
You should.
I have to, like, my manager's face is ingrained in my mind being like, shut up, don't say that.
It's okay. It's me. As you said, we go way back.
Distorted Light Beam, it's the opening track of the album and it sort of very much sets our stall. I've kind of inadvertently ended up making just an incredibly upbeat record that's, you know, musings on the future and our relationship with technology and wanting to escape. We want it to be sort of euphoric and futuristic and full of escapism. And the test for me is like playing it to some friends. As things have opened up a little bit and we've been able to see people more, playing it after a few drinks to some mates, which is always a mortifyingly embarrassing experience anyway. Hey, listen to my music. I can tell when they're pleasantly surprised. We've been around for like, you know, 8-9 years or whatever. So like, I can tell when people are like, oh, that's a nice Bastille song. But it's just been really fun. Like that everyone's like, this feels so like exciting and upbeat and different. And so, yeah, I'm excited to hopefully get that reaction from people that aren't my friends.
You will, trust me. What I heard was you in your best form. I heard some writing, which is iconic of Ryan Tedder. I could feel that from it. Then I even heard like an ode to Daft Punk. Why the hell did you guys break up? But it's fine. The music still kind of lives on subtly as we move on. And that's what I heard in it. You know, Daft Punk's always brought that sort of futuristic vibe. But when I looked at the narrative of the song, it's so perfectly placed because we are in this world where a lot of things are distorted.
Yeah, massively. I mean, that's a great reading of it. You know, working with Ryan was really fun and really different for us, you know, as someone that's always kind of worked alone. you know, working with him and with Mark was just really interesting. There's a lot to learn from Ryan about writing. You know, he's written for Beyonce and Adele and all these amazing people. So that was a really interesting experiment and was really, really fun. He's just such an energetic guy. I'm like the most cynical, downbeat Brit, and he's the most sort of eternally optimistic, excited American. And so it was like somewhere in the middle came distorted like me. But yeah, no, dude, it's totally, I wanted to, you know, with this album kind of, we've all spent the last couple of years, like more than ever, living through technology and living through our phones. So I guess I wanted to sort of explore, there's such amazing opportunities in that. The opportunities to escape and to see other people's view of the world and see other stories and narratives and go forward and back in time. Like what the internet offers in terms of that and communication and is amazing. But it's also like with us, it can be corrupted and some really dark can happen too.
Yeah.
You know, I think the thing with our band is we love pop music and we love experimenting and trying different things. And this feels like a sort of fresher sound for us. And it's different and it's the beginning of a new era. But importantly, like we also want to make music that is a conversation and it says something. So like, I hope people can lose themselves in the song a bit and dance around at home or out and about when that's legal and okay. One day when festivals are a reality again, I cannot wait to play this in a field somewhere. You know?
Oh, yes, please. I'm ready. I have been ready for this. I've been missing live music so much and concerts, and for you guys to come down here the last time, it was such what we would call a jolt.
I got to see all my Cape Town family.
Yes.
And all my cousins and my aunts and uncles and everything. So like, it's always a joy going,
and that's what it's about. But thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me again. I really hope you can do it when the album drops. Please keep me on your list.
Yeah, I will do, man. Carl, so good to see you, man. Thanks so much for having me. Hey, this is Dan from Bastille. Very excited to introduce our new single, Distorted Light Beam, on the KFM Top 40 with Carl Wastie. And a big shout out to all the Van der Lindens and all my cousins out in Cape Town.